Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Monday, June 2nd, 2025. I, of course, am Hammer here with Hammer Solutions, home of Originator Success, Grab and Go Social, Rate Sensei. Here for your daily mortgage rate update. This morning, we're going to go ahead and cover it's a big week for jobs data. We'll talk about all the different components to that, what it means for rates. Also, why the 1BBB or the 13B or what I call the one big bloated bill is bad for rate sheets and more. So if you're here on the replay, go ahead and jump forward. If you're here live, say good morning. Remember, you can join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. So glad to have y'all here. If you are watching on the replay, go ahead and jump forward. But before you do, give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here. Whether you're here live or on the replay, don't forget to smash the like button, tag in a hello friend, share this post in a group. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Make some comments. Comments are a real big thing with the algorithm. I would love to start getting more organic views on this. In order to do that, we have to tell YouTube that it's actually something cool to watch. You can help me do that by going ahead and just making comments and interacting and doing that. So appreciate y'all for doing that. Remember, if you would like a quick reminder that I am going live, we send out a text message each morning. You can sign up for that at hmmr.io/reminder or use the school QR code over here. I'll find it. It's over here. If you're on your phone, take a screenshot, go back to your photos. The QR code still works. I think that is so cool. Talk about it all the time. You guys know that. Let's go ahead and say hi to all the live folks here this morning. First one to say hello was Yasmin Martin. Good morning, Yasmin. So great to have you here. Mike Brown, good to see you, sir. We got Megan Bissell. Good morning, Megan. Ron Siegel says today is National Rocky Road Day. National Rocky Road Day. So let's go ahead and make the question of the day. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream? What is your favorite flavor of ice cream? Mine is Chunky Monkey. I don't care about the politics of Ben and Jerry or their board or anything else. I honestly don't care if they have politics or how they feel in social causes. They make some really creamy, good Chunky Monkey banana, walnut, dark chocolate ice cream, and that's all I care about. That's all I care about. Doesn't matter to me about all their other stuff, and I don't not buy their ice cream and hurt myself because I don't agree with their politics. I don't know. If you do, that's okay. You be you. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna have me some Chunky Monkey ice cream. Let me know in the comments, what is your favorite ice cream? Good morning, Michael Love, Cindy Pulliam. Great to have you all here. Giddy up, Mr. Randy Teagle. How did the dog training go over the weekend, sir? Hopefully everything went well. You said those are golden retrievers that you're training, right, for this round? And are they always golden retrievers? Do you ever train pointers, or are they always retrievers? And is there a difference between pointers and retrievers? You'll have to tell me about that. Don't worry, you have to write that down. Tell me about that when we're in Texas. Amy Blauser, good morning. Monica Dinkins, Taylor Henry, great to see you. Mallory Fotiadis, Brandy Brickler, great to have all of you here. Taylor Henry, yeah, see, he thinks it is. So, all right. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get started and jump in. If I missed you, get in earlier next time. So, all right, while you guys are going ahead and telling us about what your favorite ice cream is, I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about what we got going on this morning. So if we take a look here and just do a quick recap. Rates ended the week. In fact, let's go to Mortgage News Daily for a minute. Rates ended the week 6.95, slightly better than the week before, 7.02. I mean, you're looking at barely an eighth in rate. We really haven't seen a lot of movement in rates. I know that every little move, you feel that on your rate sheets, but we really haven't seen a lot of moves as far as that go. If we take a look here at Friday, and let me go ahead and annotate here. Pricing came out right about here, right around 10 a.m. That's generally when pricing comes out. You can see we are at this level here, right around 98.90-ish, give or take for the day, right? And then it improved a little bit through the afternoon, not much. And then late day improvements here. There were some reprices better, not a lot, but there were a handful. But this morning, you can see here, we've given back those gains. So you've gotten this drop down, and we are basically right back here, about the same as when pricing came out. If we draw a straight line, look at that. You've got right here, which is Friday's pricing, right here, which is where we're set for today's pricing. If we don't get any surprises from the PMI data that comes out. So PMI data, the ISM, I'm sorry, was it PMI data? What data is coming out this morning? I think it's ISM PMI data. Let's see. economic calendar. Yeah, no, it's the ISM, it's the ISM manufacturing PMI data. So ISM manufacturing data, basically, this is a survey that's done of businesses in the manufacturing sector. A reading above 50 is economic strength. A reading below 50 is economic weakness. Last reading that we had here was 48.7. It was 48.7. It's expected to get a little bit stronger this time, 49.5. If you do see that big 5-0, that would probably cause some slight selling this morning as rate sheets are coming out. This comes out at 10 a.m. So you take a look here. We've got this one coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Basically, you guys aren't. Let me get my head out of the way. You're not seeing the whole screen. But anyway, you got this coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And again, it's expected to be 49.5. The previous was 48.7. If this comes out with a 50 reading, that would send rate sheets a little bit uglier this morning. So hopefully that doesn't happen. As long as we don't get any surprises there, I think we don't have much to worry about as far as that PMI, that manufacturing data goes, or as far as rate sheets go. Reprice risk on the day is moderate. As you can see, we're currently down 13 basis points on the day. It's not tremendous, but it is something. And taking a look here, let me, why is this not? It glitched again. Let me refresh it and we'll get this to, let me just pop this up next to me here. So reprice risk on the day is moderate. We're already down just a handful of basis points, 13 basis points, not enough to start panicking by any means, but it is enough to have washed away the gains from Friday afternoon. However, take a look here. What I want to show you, let me get this on the screen the way I want. Perfect. Okay. So what I want to show you is last week was better than what I expected to see. This was last week, and I was in a lock stance for most of the week. But you can see that we started the week before, we were right here, and we've gone up, 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 and we ended the week up here. So with mortgage bonds, when you start and the week lower and move higher, this is good for your rate sheets, which is why we saw rate sheets that went from 7.02 right here, and now they're at 6.95 heading into today. So that's why we're seeing that this morning. Let me move this over a little bit so that you guys can get the full picture. There you go. So as far as all that goes, I think we're close to capping out. You see this green line right here. This is the 100-day moving average. We didn't even make it that far, though. And I think what we're going to see happen is I think we're going to see things come down this week. Now, we've got a lot of data coming out this week. We've got the JOLTS data coming out. Let's take a look and see when all these things start to come out. Hold on a minute. Let's see. Control, small, small, small. Why is it not making it smaller? Control. Oh, command, small, 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 small. There we go. Okay, so taking a look here, let me go ahead and just pop this bigger so I can grab that. Let's throw that economic calendar back up here. All right, so taking a look for this week, we've got, let's take a look together. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Boop, boop. Okay, so taking a look here, we got that ISM manufacturing data this morning. Tomorrow, we're going to have the JOLTS data. So that's your first major job labor market data. Job opening labor turnover survey. How many new jobs are out there for people to get? Then we're going to have global services PMI data on Wednesday. On Thursday, we get regular jobless claims. And then Friday, of course, is the big day. That is where we have non-farm payroll data, or the BLS jobs data, as we like to call it. So that's going to be the big day, of course, is Friday. As far as the outlook goes, it's not great, but it's not terrible. We're unlikely to see much improvement as headlines start to shine on the big bloated bill. So I know that some of you are big Trump supporters, and you're not going to like that I call it the big bloated bill, but it's important that we kind of reiterate that is exactly what it is. Trump may be calling it the one big beautiful bill, and I call it the one big bloated bill, because it is filled with tax cuts and other things that are going to drive up the need to borrow money. And that's why it overall, the initial reaction to this will be bad for mortgage rates. Now, it's important to note it made it through the House. It's going to be months before it makes it through the Senate. I mean, at least a month before it makes it through a Senate. You can see that the headlines that are out there today is going to talk about how Trump is, trying to drum up support to get it through there. But at the end of the day, it's still going to take a while before they vote on it. They're going to want to pick it apart. This is kind of the process, right? But all these tax cuts, they're going to increase the deficit. They're going to require more borrowing. Now, what's important to note here is we're going to bounce around some things. Tariffs are not tariffs. Treasuries are getting their butt kicked lately. So taking a look at the 10-year, let's look at the 10-year first, and then we'll talk about it. It's the longest term treasury is the 30-year. Then you've got the 10-year. I think there's 20 years in there, but they never talk about them. You got the 10-year. Then you've got your 7.5, 3.1, and all that. So right now, the 10-year Treasury yield 4.44. 4.44. If we take a look here, you can see that it did come down. And on Friday, we watched those technicals. It did close right at that 100-day moving average, and now it's bouncing back up. So what's important to note is that when you come down and you bounce, unless we get jobs data this week that pushes it through, it's very unlikely that we get that, by the way. We're likely to see it creep back up again. And as the 10-year creeps up, mortgage-backed securities also going to creep down, and that's bad for rates and pricing. So right now, when you take a look at this, interesting article like the Wall Street Journal. Hold on, I'll get to that one next. Let's actually go into this one. This one is from Bloomberg. They all have similar headlines here. Buyers strike rocks U.S. long bond as DoubleLine and PIMCO stay away. For DoubleLine Capital, there are two approaches to consider when it comes to 30-year treasuries. And yes, Robert, you hit it on the head, right? I mean, like we've gotten so used to this. It's really kind of how it is. The outlook remains the same. It's not great. It's not terrible. These are rates. The main thing that you have to take out of this is that rates are not in any position to improve from here, even though people want them to. Until we see signs of true economic weakness, until we see signs that the economy is actually tanking, that talk of recession and all that stuff comes back, we're not going to see any real move with rates. So keep that in mind. However, you're not going to see, and here's the other thing too, you're not going to see rates improve as long as you have a lot of concern over all the debt. So let's chat about some of the comments you guys are making. Besides we can tell you this is cool to watch when you won't even tell the West Coasters what time you're broadcasting. Oh, I tell you are on your soapbox on that one, aren't you? Nope, it's all about Eastern time, baby. All right, hold on. The outlook. Let's see. Randy was what would need to happen to finish the year strong with better rates? Best case, worst case. Ron says the bill will not be inflationary. It's not that it's inflationary. It's that we have to borrow money. If it does not pass, it'll be good for mortgages. Instead, it'll create a recession or worse, a 17% tax increase in the middle working class. This should be important to us. The bill will create GDP growth and be good for the economy, not real good for mortgages. As happened in 2017, the bill creates revenue. So I don't know that I strongly disagree with that one. I know where you're saying on that. It's almost like a trickle-down economy. What that doesn't fully take into effect is the fact that people are spending money on credit, not money that they're saving on tax savings. What we have to look at is sentiment. If people feel like they have more money, they're going to spend more money they don't have, right? If people feel positive about the economy, if people feel like they can spend and that one day they'll be able to pay it back, that false hope that they have, then we're going to see more people spending money. Remember something. Right now, they're talking about how there are less foreigners that are spending money in the U.S., because of the tariffs and the trade wars and Trump basically pissing off the rest of the world. And that certainly has an effect, but we spend more money than anyone else, I think. And there's nothing that I can point to prove that. It's just my gut feeling. I just think that we do, and the size of the U.S. and the population and everything. So anyway, taking a look here. the one thing that we were talking about on this is that there's a lot of concern on the 30-year treasury, right? That it is losing ground. And you can see that right here, but the 10-year isn't that far behind it. So they talk about yield moves this year, right? So the long-term yield has moved up, and that's the 30-year bond. Okay. That has moved up, whereas all the rest have come down. So the 10-year yield has come down, but not nearly as much as, say, the 2-year and 5-year. So you've got short-term rates that are getting the biggest benefit, and longer-term rates, the 30-year being the longest term, but the 10-year is considered a long-term bond, and they're not in a position to improve. Traders are not going to put much money in there because of concerns with things like this. Retailers flex their vocabulary to warn of potential tariff-driven price increases. So what's funny is they won't just say, like Walmart did, that the price is going up. And a lot of the concern about this is because, like, as you can see right here, the White House has decided to aim its tanks at companies that do speak out. Retailers don't want to be drawn into that. So, for example, when Walmart said, higher tariffs will result in higher prices, they just put it out there. Then, of course, Trump said, eat the tariffs in a social media post directed at Walmart. Now, can they eat the tariffs? I'm not going to debate that. They probably can, but will they? No, they're going to pass it along to the consumer until it affects the bottom line. Which way do you make or lose more money? Right. So when you're a business and a huge corporation, their corporate mandate, their job is to make money. So if they pass along let's say that they're going to lose, 10 cents, right? If they pass along, this is the easiest way I can say this to you. Let's say that they're going to lose 10 cents on every widget, right? If they pass along the 10 cents and they sell 5 widgets, then they've broken even. They sold 5 widgets. Let's say their profit is 30 cents. So they make $1.50, right? But let's say that they eat the 10 cents. They sell 7 widgets. So the 7 widgets are $2.10, but they've eaten the 70 cents. Now they're at $1.40. They made less money. Okay. So by eating it and selling more, they make less money. If they pass it along, sell less, but make more money, that's what they're going to do. And they'll put it out there and they'll test it. They'll raise prices. And if sales drop too much, then they can roll back. Especially, think about it. Walmart even uses that term, rollback pricing, right? So that's exactly how this stuff works. It's not rocket science. That's how retail goes. That's how, if you're pricing products, it's oftentimes how you price a product. So you want to see where, if you're trying to maximize profit, you're looking to see how much will the market pay for this product. And once you start losing sales, you have to look at, well, how many sales are you losing compared to what it would cost you if you lowered the price and sold more? It may not be worth it because there's also additional costs, whether it's support, transit, staff, labor, to selling more. Sometimes selling less is better than selling more. So that's how Originator Success and Hammer Solutions, that's how I operate. I don't have big corporate deals because it would cost me more to support those deals. They pay less per person, blah, blah, blah. We don't bother with it. I'd rather be a small, what I call boutique product, and get the best results for the people using it rather than opening it up to everybody and, washing it out because everybody's got it at that point, right? So keep that in mind. But anyways, you're looking at this stuff. Ron says the comments from Walmart and others just excuse to justify price increases. The Cass Freight Index is showing us shipping costs are down. The public does not hear that. Business is there to maximize profit. That's their job. And we could definitely debate whether there's a true, with the tariffs being there the way they are. By the way, like, I finally got my oven in for putting in my kitchen. I ordered it in February. It was supposed to be in April, and it didn't make it in. And I think a lot of the reason they were slow on initial delivery, but then I think that it was coming in from China, at least parts of it were. And I think that was held off because of the tariffs. And once the tariffs eased, Then all of a sudden, here's my oven. I mean, I think there's a lot of things like that, Ron. I think you see it. Ron said spot on pricing efficiency. Yeah. So trickle down does not work. I agree, Tim. I think trickle down does not really work, but that's more of a different thing. So anyway, as we've got going on this week, let me just make sure that we're staying on track and everyone's on that same thing. I'd still be locking anything if it's closing less than 30 days. Here's my thought process behind what's going on. We've got a lot of jobs data this week. We have to see some real big signs of economic labor market weakness to see the jobs data improve rates. Now, they could improve rates, right? If you want to cautiously float, but what is it that we're looking for? Are we looking for the CPI data next week to ease things, right? With the inflation data? Are we looking for signs that that the labor market is weakening enough that the Fed will have to go ahead and cut rates? There's a lot of pressure on the Fed to cut rates from the administration, but there's not a lot of pressure to cut rates in the reports. The Fed isn't looking at cutting the Fed funds rate as long as you see the labor market holding steady and inflation not dropping significantly. The threat of inflation, the tariffs, all of that, this is a big deal. The fact that they're concerned the triple B, right, the big bloated bill going through, that's a big deal. Keep all of that in mind. So for me, if you've got loans that are closing in July right now, you don't have to worry about locking. And the reason that I say that is I don't think we're going to see too much of a difference between now and what we've seen the last month, right? I mean, we've seen rates that have, put it here, right? We've seen, 6.90, 6.86, 6.92, 6.92, right? And then we keep scrolling here, 6.99. We hit a high point, 7.08, but it came back down, 6.97, 6.95. We have a good week and we're back down to say 6.92. This is like Robert pointed out, this is where things are kind of at. So if you've got loans closing in July, I wouldn't really worry about locking. Loans closing in June, the next 2 weeks, I think risks favor locking. If you want to wait until Friday's jobs data, see if there's any chance that it improves things a little bit, you can wait. I mean, we're not likely to see too much, but between now and then, here's the problem. That's at the end of this week. And what I think is going to happen between now and the end of the week is I think we're going to see, just like we saw here, we've seen mortgage bonds that improved. I think this week we see them come back down. So by the time we get to Friday, I bet you that mortgage-backed securities are around 98.50. I should write this down and see if I'm correct. I'm really bad at following through on this stuff. So I'm going to put it on the screen so we can follow through and see. But I think by the time we get to Friday's jobs data, I think Thursday, we're probably going to be around 98.50 to end the week, right? And as far as where we're at right now, again, that would put us at 98.50. Where are we right now? We're at 98.87. So that would put us down about 40 basis points. That would push your pricing to be higher. So, I think that, again, I think we're going to see that hit 98. Oh, I can do text. There we go. Nice. I think 98.50 is, as a range, right around that 98.50-ish mark. I think that's where we're going to be when the jobs data comes out. Where we end the week, we'll see, depends on how that jobs data is. But I think we're going to lose ground between now and then, unless we get some really weak JOLTS data or something to that effect. I don't think we're going to see that. So that's my take there on what we said. Love all the sharing, Ron. Always appreciate you. If we see a lot of people coming back into the workforce, that could increase the unemployment rate, which is the headline that matters. Lots of risks this week with jobs report. The market moves the misinformation from the BLS. It's risky because we can't forecast what that bad data will be. I don't disagree. And then it gets, again, it'll just get revised later. So let's go ahead and let's end on a fun note. What was your favorite ice cream? Mike Schmogan, he's got taste. He said Chunky Monkey is awesome, but his favorite is butter pecan. Mike Brown, chocolate and peanut butter. Deb Dickinson, mocha and almond fudge. Monica Dinkins, cookies and cream. That is my least favorite ice cream. I don't like cookies and cream. I don't know why. Butter pecan I do like, though. That one's for me. Who else doesn't? Is there anyone else out there that doesn't like cookies and cream besides me? Sorry, Monica. We're not going out for ice cream together. Well, we can, I guess, of course, eat different ice cream. So I do not like cookies and cream. Vanilla bean. Angela, that is, you know that's very vanilla, right? That's just kind of a boring one. Allison Foy is going with Moose Tracks. Oh, Randy, you only breed Goldens. Ah, got you, my man. Got you. Ron Siegel, I couldn't do Chunky Monkey. I resemble a chunk. Not being down 60 freaking pounds, you don't, dude. I am back on a diet right now. It's been a year since I broke my leg. Have not been doing anything physical, and except for growing outward. I'm working to get in shape. Right now, I am in shape, but that shape is round. So I'm looking to lose my belly again. So Rocky Road is okay. Mint chocolate chip. Mint chocolate chip used to be my favorite. With Live Potion. I don't know what Live Potion is. Blue Bunny Terrific Cheesecake. That's the only ice cream your kids will not eat. Oh, that's funny, dude. Let's see here. Yep. Just going through your comments on things. Copacabana Banana from Cold Stone. I have not been to a Cold Stone in like 10 years. I'll have to go check that one out. Mint chocolate chip, definitely a good one. Moose Tracks, good one. Superman, is that an ice cream flavor? Does it have like red and blue? Banana pudding ice cream. I would do it. Banana, yeah, round is a shape. That's my main shape. So, all right, my friends. Well, thank you for joining me. Appreciate all of you. Time for us to wrap it up. We have been here for half an hour, a little long. Click that button a little premature. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and we'll talk more then. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.